Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode. Today I will show you how I made it possible to chop a tree, which then displays the tree's health bar, and then if you deplete the tree's health bar, then it counts as harvested and vanishes from the scene. In a future episode, I will add a respawn time for the tree once it is harvested, so that you can come back at a later stage to harvest the same tree and to show how the tree falls with an animation. Once you have your created project open, then first thing we want to do, seeing that we do not have a tree or player in the game, is to get those in the game by getting packages from the package manager. If you do not have the packages, make sure to go to Unity Store, log in and add the free package you want into your asset. Go to Window, Package Manager, Import Free Tree Package. The link is down below for this package. After you have imported the free trees, import standard assets for Unity. Create a plane in the scene, scale it up by 10 on the X and Z, and drag and drop the tree prefab inside of the scene. If you do have a created scene already and your own tree prefabs, then this will work for your trees as well. In this project, we will go to the free trees we imported from my assets, Dart Artisan, free trees, prefabs, and then drag and drop oak tree into the scene. We will use the FPS controller prefab in the standard assets folder. We go to characters, first person character, prefabs, and then drag and drop FPS controller into the scene. Let's just drag the player a bit away from the tree. If you try playing the game to test the movement, then some of you will get the error that GUI text is obsolete and no longer in use, and that you need to use UI.text now. Double click the error in the console and edit GUI text to text, and press Ctrl and period on text and select using Unity Engine.ui. Save the script and go back into Unity, and you will see that the error is now gone. Let's play the game and see if we can move around. Now that we know we can move around, now we want to add a raycast from the FPS controller camera to hit the tree to show collision. Before worrying about collisions, let's create a new folder in assets called script. And create a new script called selection manager. In the scene, we are going to create an empty game object and call it selection manager, and make sure that we reset the transform. After we have reset the transform, then we can drag and drop the selection manager script into the selection manager game object. Open up the selection manager and delete the start method and make the update method a private void update. We want to get array value, so we will say ray called ray equal camera.main.screen.toRay input.mouse position. Now that the ray is going from the camera, now we would like to know if we are actually hitting anything with the ray with physics. So we will check if physics.raycast ray out raycast hit called hit. Then we want to have the selection of the hit transform. So we will write transform selection equal hit.transform. We want to make sure that we are hitting a tree object. So for now, we will use the tagging system to do this. There's loads of ways to do this, like caching in the objects, but we can do that in a future episode. So let us create a few more variables. We will create a serialized field private string called tree tag equal tree, just so that we can adjust the tag if we want to in the inspector, if it changes to oak tree or maple tree or anything in that regard. Then we want to have a display of text popping up. So we will write serialized field private game object and call it chop text. Then add a damage variable of serialized field private float chop damage equal 1f. Back in the update method, we want to compare first. So after hit.transform, we will write if selection.compare tag tree tag. Then we want to know two things. We want to know if we are close enough to the target and if we are pressing a button to actually damage the tree or chop it. We will write if hit.distance is less than 2f, then we want to set chopText.setActive true. And if input.getKeyDown, and for this exercise we will use keycode.e. And once you have pressed E and you are close enough to the tree, then we will call a method here. For now, let's leave this empty and just create the else statement and say if the selection.compare tag is not a tree, then chopText.setActive is false. Save the script and go back into Unity and create a new script called Tree Manager and go into the script. Once the script is open, delete the start and update method. This script we want to attach to the tree prefab and assign the tree a health value and also adjust the health bar that will be on the tree itself. We will create two variables. First one will be public float tree health equal and give it the default health value of 10f. Then serialize field image and call it foreground equal null. And click on image and press Ctrl and period and select using Unity Engine.ui. The foreground will be the green bar which shows the health value. If you want to know how to create a health bar in more detail, make sure to watch the health bar video I created. Now we will create a new method called chopTree, where we will write public void chopTree and pass in float damage. And then inside the method, we will just adjust tree health minus equal the damage that we passed in. After the tree health has changed, then we would like to update the fill amount value for the visuals. So we will add foreground.fillamount equal tree health divide by 10 float. If your default value is not 10 float, then make sure to adjust accordingly. Now that the method is reducing the tree health and also updating the visuals, once the health value has reached 0 or lower, then we want to destroy the game object. This can also be done in a lot of different ways, as you can do a coroutine where you play an animation of a log falling first, or you can actually have the tree have more physics to it by actually falling with gravity and more. But for this exercise, we will destroy the tree once you have got it to 0 health or less. For this, we just write if tree health is less or equal than 0f, then destroy game object. Go back to the selection manager script, and at the point where you press the E key code, then we want to write selection.getComponent tree manager dot chop tree and pass in our chop damage. Now we are done with the code to get this all working. So head back into Unity and double click your tree prefab that you will be using. Once you are inside the tree prefab, you want to drag in the tree manager script inside of the prefab as a component. Add a box collider to the tree prefab as well. Adjust the box collider accordingly and create a new tag called tree and make sure the prefab is assigned this tag. We then want to create a canvas inside of the prefab and make it render in world space. Reset the rect transform and adjust the width to 4 and height to 1 just to replicate a basic health bar and move the canvas above the tree or wherever you prefer. Inside the canvas, create a new image and call it background and click on the anchor preset and hold Alt and select stretch. If you have followed the health bar video, then you will have two textures in your textures folder called red and green. Drag in the red texture to the source image. If you do not have this, make sure to go into the health bar video and get the textures from the video. Duplicate the background game object with Ctrl and D and rename it to foreground. Replace the source image with the green texture and change image type to filled and fill method to horizontal and fill origin to right. If we adjust the fill amount, then you will see it is going down as a normal health bar. Click on the parent again and drag and drop the foreground image into the foreground slot. Now that the prefab is ready, we can go out of the prefab and create a new canvas and call it UI canvas. This will be used to show the text pop-up when you are close to the tree and informing the player to press E to chop. Once you have the UI canvas created, create a new Text Mesh Pro text, and if it pops up the window to import the TMP, then do so. Once it has been imported, then rename the game object to text chop and align the text accordingly, and in this scenario we will let it auto-size the text. In the text input window we will just write press E to chop. If your text is small as mine, make sure to change the width to 600 and height to 100 just to have it a bit larger in the game. Once done, make sure to disable the game object. Click on the selection manager and drag and drop the text chop into the chop text and adjust the chop damage if needed. In this case, I will leave it at 1. Now let us play the game and chop down this tree. If we look in the console after playing the game, we will see there's 2 audio listeners. The FPS controller has a camera attached to it, so in the hierarchy, just disable the main camera and this issue will go away. Let's play again after the change, and now we will see all is working. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, make sure to like and comment and subscribe down below if you like the content I release. Join the Discord channel if you want to learn more about game development, or if you just like to join the community and ask for any advice and talk with everyone with the same passion. Source code link is down below. Keep well and see you in the next episode. Cheers.